tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itiko bhikkhave tathagato tathagatabam nittang manyati. Dear venerable brothers and friends, yesterday actually we discussed certain aspects of the dwelling in emptiness. So several months actually we discussed about emptiness and how to achieve it. And yesterday also I briefly touched that how one can practice Vipassana, and then as a result of the understanding that things are impermanent, all the conditioned phenomena are impermanent, and then it may lead to the understanding of non-self. As a result of certain detached attitude developing in the mind get somewhat released from the high aggregates. So typically our minds are not released, rather our minds are really held in the aggregates. So it may happen even naturally. So naturally our minds are not empty in a way. Now, simple way to look at it, in one way is the inner chatter going on. So something is there, always something is occupied. Our mind is always taking something and associating something, holding something, enjoying something, maybe even worrying. So that's why that's the habitual tendency we have. So when certain incident happen, we can't simply forget it. We again and again take it to our mind and again think about it. It may happen either in a favorable way or unfavorable way. It may be a positive incident, it may be a favorable incident, it may be a harmful incident, but still we keep on thinking on that. That means constantly our mind gets occupied. And on the other hand, if you consider the perceptions in the mind, always mind has something going on. Now say, if you look at the mind is like a continuous YouTube, continuous cinema. It keep on showing something. So I am particularly telling about the, say, mental images. It's very rarely that mind becomes completely empty. Otherwise, it's fairly occupied with some sort of different kinds of mental images. Say, you remember your past, you remember certain incidents, and whenever your mind is empty, it appears like a little different because it is not used to. And say, we are not even keeping our senses without any kind of interaction. We constantly want to interact with the world. Till the morning to the end, I want to enjoy my eyes. So I am looking at something and enjoying through the eyes. Through the ears, the same. So I want to enjoy my ears. Say we are listening to music and we are talking to others, and through the ears I am being occupied. Through the nose, to the tongue, to the body, the same thing. So whenever the five sensual, this direct contact is not available, mind still shift to some sort of a narrative. Keep going on some sort of a narrative. So this is something that we need to understand, how our minds are constantly being occupied. So the Buddha's teaching in oneself help us to understand what really has happened. Our mind habitually used to this sort of ongoing occupation, ongoing some sort of tanglement. So we like to get tangled. Rather than being untangled, rather than being completely released, we want something to get hold on to, get tangled with it. So emptiness practice, on the other hand, encourages the opposite. How to get untangled, how to get released, how to get free, and how to dwell in that freedom. Not as a kind of a conceptual possibility, hypothetical possibility, rather it encourages us to dwell there, be there, enjoy that. And it appears like difficult, But it is possible. That's what Buddha's teaching is. Keep on telling us, try to do that, try to enjoy that, try to be that, dwell that. Several suttas, let me take a couple of examples. Now say, yesterday we taken one example that say, when you are practicing maybe Anapanasati, there may be an instance that your body becomes somewhat not feeling that say your breath becomes very subtle and subtler and subtler, and ultimately breath disappears. And at that moment you can't actually perceive the body even, body or coming. The breath is part of the body, and we forget about the body and we kept looking at the breath. Now we can't perceive the body, but now can only perceive the breath, and even that disappears. And then what happened? So one thing is that it can bring us certain kind of unworldly kind of happiness, kind of bliss, kind of floating type of experience, goosebumps, rapturous experience, and immediately we start attaching to that, appreciating that, dwelling in that. So that means still not empty, isn't it? Even though we are capable of let go of the physical bodily sensations and let go of the very gross kind of an experience, still we get trapped to the subtle kind of an experience of some spiritual kind of an experience. So we are enjoying that, we hold that and we like that, and next time also we sit expecting that, okay, may I get that blissful experience? Only advantage is it doesn't promote the unsafe tendencies. That's the only advantage, because it is it's not related to the sense desires. Sensual desires are not involved there. So the raga anusaya is not promoted there, but it's a kind of unworldly kind of happiness, niramusa piti. So therefore, Venerable Dhammadinna in Chula Vedanta Sutta, she emphasized, so this kind of spiritual practice related happiness doesn't carry any kind of raga anusaya, latent tendency to the desire. That's the only advantage. But still trapped. Still we are holding on to something. Suppose then we step into looking at it from a different angle. That is the next step in the Anapanasati Sutta. Piti Patisamveti Asasisanti Sikkati, Sukha Patisamveti Asasisanti Sikkati. Encouraging us to look at feeling as feeling again. Here it is not a painful feeling. Here it is a very pleasant, soft kind of a feeling. Now look at it as it is. Okay, it is a mere feeling. It is not me feeling happy, I feeling happy, rather it is mere feeling. Now you distance it again, decenter it again. It's difficult, not easy. Now you can distance yourself from the breath, right? So breath happens and we can step back and watch the breath. Okay, it is in breath, it is out breath. It is not me making the in breath or me making the out breath. Rather it is mere in breath, mere out breath. Same phenomena, same theory, if we apply to the feeling, okay, there's a mere pleasurable feeling, mere blissful feeling. So if we are able to look at it like that, then we may be able to little distance ourselves, isn't it? So likewise, if we continue, okay, Buddha say, even these feelings can start subsiding. Okay, you are not attaching to them, they may be happening, but you are distancing. You are basically separate from it. You are not in it. It's not I feel happy. Rather, there is a pleasurable feeling. There is a blissful feeling. There is a floating type of experience. It's a mere experience. So I am distancing myself. I am stepped out of it. And the other thing is the possibility of having certain kinds of perceptions in the mind. Even though we use the term perception, we have to go to the very fundamental level of the signs. So signs happening in the mind, as I mentioned, the certain mental images. So different types of mental images can appear in your mind. Assume that you watched a movie yesterday and there may be some dramatic incidents in that movie. So you may remember that, isn't it? Or you have gone through certain experience, it's a very interesting experience. Assume that you went to a particular place to watch something, you enjoy that really, and you remember, and that's why we keep taking the photos, right? To further remember it, to again and again to look at it, and then you frame it and keep it on your whatever the place, to quickly look at it, to approach it and again look at it. Because I like to dwell in that experience. That's a beautiful scene. Again and again looking at it, and then even when I close my eyes, I can see it. Even though I am not there. Now, is it a good thing or bad thing? In terms of the emptiness, it's bad in a way, right? So, we are encouraging a free mind, but right now what we are doing is occupying the mind again and again. So, in deep terms, actually in the Cholasunyata Sutta, Buddha say, so as we are reducing karma ashrava related such perceptions should not appear all. They get lesser and lesser as the karma ashrava reduce. Now, karma ashrava, say lustful tendencies, lustful influxes, the desire base, the craving base, some sort of tendencies there in the mind. So that's why we really love to look at beautiful scenes. We love to look at certain, say, even exciting scenes. So that's the tendency we have in our mind. So when we are looking at it, we enjoy it. But the disadvantage is that they start kind of sedimenting in the mind. They start occupying the mind. They keep stuck on the mind. And when you are doing something else, that stuck can come up. It can pop up. You are in a different time, but it can pop up and again occupy the mind. That's because our latent tendencies are there. They are responsible to again trigger that previous experience and let us enjoy that. Again get trapped in it. Again get occupied because of that. So that's a disadvantage in a way. But the interesting thing with the practice is, so Buddha tells, okay, as our karma asana is reducing, as a result of the practice, so that tendency may reduce. Whatever the friction, whatever the defiled nature, whatever the influence coming from that, whatever the stored perceptions, stored images, stored memories become less and less. So that means even though you are seeing, they are not being stored very much time, isn't it? It's not that the Arahant or Buddha keep on keeping their eyes closed. They keep their eyes open, right? They still keep their eyes open, even though they see. They are not sensually attracted to it. They are holding it. As a result of that, those are not being stored in their mind. And it's a mere scene. It's a mere scene. So that's why in another way, if it is telling, in the Madhuvindika Sutta, Sanya na anusenti. Sanya na anusenti. So whatever different kind of signs, whatever say sights, smells, tastes, sounds, whatever these typical sensual pleasure related data does not inculcate or engrave in the mind of the Arahant, mind of the whoever the practitioner properly going through, even though they may experience that. So typically what happens is, because of our attract, we really love that, we really want that, we really like that. I get tangled in it, I'm holding it, grasping it, again and again, welcoming it, enjoying it. Huge influence is there, and ultimately it gets stuck in the mind, glued to the mind. Even I am not in that scene, still there. Certain remains are there. At another moment it can pop up. That's why now most of you may have the experience, say when you are practicing even Anapanasati or when you are practicing any meditation, when the mind doesn't have a particular object to enjoy, so you feel like bored or you come to a very subtle stage, Anapanasati become faded away and almost like disappear. Immediately you remember something. Right? Immediately you get a certain kind of a perception. Maybe thoughts or maybe different kind of image can appear and we immediately give some value to it and then again we get trapped. So therefore the perceptions are really a troublesome area to handle because it's unlike the physical thing, right? It is fairly mental, very subtle mental aspects are there. Very difficult to overcome. So our minds are very much like engulfed in it, perceptions. The perception term is giving a wrong connotation, but in a way it's the science, various different science. As a result of again and again repeated association with the science, we may get a different kind of perception. That's another story. But here, mind occupied by different kinds of science, mental images and sound-related images, the smells, tastes, tangibles related, some sort of constructs are there occupying the mind. So when the mind is really empty, so none of them has to be there. So emptiness has a deep meaning in that sense, right? It is not that nobody is there and still I am thinking. Rather, while the mind is empty, we can't have any kind of visualizations in a way. There can't be any hallucinations, there can't be any visualizations. Almost like the mind has to be fairly transparent. Now, the problem is, so we are not used to it. So even we time to time come to such level, it appears like kind of boredom, it appears like some awkward experience. So again we drop or we come back to the very gross experience. So let me take a little Dhamma stanza. So this is available in the Apara Sutta in Bojjhanga Samyutta, in Samyutta Nikaya. So Buddha refer like this. Appatate manussesu ye jana paragamino athayang itarapaja tira mevanu dhavati. Few are those among humankind who go beyond to the far shore. The rest of the people merely run up and down along the bank. Hope you got it. So very few who are crossing to the other side. Vast majority simply run from in the bank. So they don't want to go to the other side. They have a lot of business here. A lot of priorities are there. A lot of business is here in this world. No time to think the other shore. Quite correct, right? Quite valid. And we have our own priorities. We have our own engagements. We have our own, say, responsibilities. And if Buddha come here and say, okay, let me come with, can you all come with me? I'll take you immediately to Nibbana. So some of you might say, okay, Bhante, can you give me 1 month? I have some urgent, one of my friend's wedding is there on the next month, so shall I come after that? Okay, Bhante, can you do 2 more months because my daughter is pregnant and she needs some help. So we have a lot of such responsibilities, a lot of priorities. Even if Buddha come and ask, okay, can we immediately go to Nibbana? Mm-hmm. So our minds are occupied. So we are not easy to do that. So we have some business in the bank. Bank, maybe People's Bank. Here the bank means the river bank. So we are not thinking about the other shore, rather we have something in the river bank. Then, Kanhan Dhammam Vipahaya Suttam Bhavita Panditam. Now we address the practitioner. Kanhan Dhammam Vipahaya. So he say, okay, you drop the unwholesome activities and you only engage with the wholesome activities. Kanhan Dhammam Vipahaya Suttam Bhavita. And you better only do the proper things, correct things, wholesome things. Sambupa Sakarana, Kusala Sutta Sambupa. Oka Anoka Nagama Vivekaya Durava. That's a very interesting part here. Now, as a result of the practice, Vipassana practice, you may sometimes come to a level that is nothing to experience life. There is no sight, no smell, no taste, no sound, no tangible, and not even a thought, and mind is purely empty. Right? So that is like you are coming out of that worldly experience. So typically we are engulfed in some sort of a worldly experience. We are trapped in it. But Vipassana practice, as our wisdom grows, so that engagement, that grasping is temporarily cut off. So mind release and it comes to a little uplifted level, but nothing is there. Oka Anoka Nagama Viveki. It is but little restful. I mean, you don't have any friction, you don't have any agitation, you don't have any stress, you don't have any burden. It feels like kind of a rest, kind of a little peace is there. Oka Anokam Agama Viveki Yakta Durramam. And Buddha said it is difficult to sort of attracted to it. Difficult to appreciate it. Because what are we used to appreciate? Say we appreciate, say a beautiful sight. We appreciate beautiful sound. We appreciate smell, taste, tangible. And even when the mind is going through a very beautiful fantasy, still we appreciate. Right? That's why we keep on thinking. We are enjoying the fantasies. We enjoy even worrying. We enjoy even self-narratives. Even though it has no tangible value, but still we really love that. Sometimes laughing, sometimes talking to ourselves again, laughing. Enjoying. But here, in this particular thing, nothing is there. So it's very difficult for us to encourage to be there, stay there. Again, mind comes and drops to sight, sounds, smells, tastes, tangible thoughts. So again, the practice helps us to again uplift. Okay, let go of the worldly thing, again come to this emptiness. So we have to do it again and again. So the interesting thing is, the practice again and again takes us there. If the practice is really correct practice, either if you do Kayanupassana, still it takes you there. Even if you do Vedananupassana, still it takes you there. Even if you do Chittanupassana, it will take you there. Even if you do Dhammanupassana, it will take you there. The grasping is reduced and the mind becomes independent. Anisito viharati, nacha kinchito upadi. So whatever proper practice has to take us there. So there are now, I often used to tell this. Now, say for example in Satipatthana Sutta, there are 21 subsections in a way. You can simply say it's 21 Kamattha. each and every time Buddha's mentioned this. If you practice Anapanasati, okay, you can come here. You can arrive this unattached, non-grasping state. If you practice, say, elements meditation, still you can come here. If you practice properly the postures, the 4 postures, if you properly practice that, deeply practice that, still you can come here. Say if you practice Vedananupasana, you can come here. Practice Chittanupasana, again you can come here. Dhammanupasana has 5 sections, each one promotes this, where the mind becomes independent, unattached, non-grasping. Not grasping anything in the world. So not grasping anything in the world, so where the mind is there. Now we can say it's unworldly kind of, right? So not grasping anything in the world indicate now the mind is not associating anything in the world. So we can't say it's a worldly type of a mind. It's a kind of unworldly kind of a mind now. Mahagata Chitta in a way. It's an uplifted, fairly sublime kind of a mind. So whatever proper practice has to take us here again and again. But the yogi has to be encouraged, okay, you just be there for 1 minute if possible. Be there for 2 minutes if possible, 3 minutes if possible, because our mind never used to associate it, never used to appreciate it. We used to appreciate when the self is present, when the self is recognized, when the self is given some acceptance, given some appreciation, and you feel uplifted because when the self is there. But here, no self is there. And so, Buddha further mentioned, Tatra abhirahin ichche hitva kame akincha. So you need to encourage the mind to go there, encourage the mind to dwell there, hitva kame, abandoning the kama, abandoning the sense pleasures. So the mind's tendency, now we all are human beings, so we came to this human realm because of our sensual desires, right? So we were having the sensual desires, which is aligning with the karma realm, this human realm, so we were born here. And to that we have given enough prominence. So my tendency in the mind is to appreciate some sights, smells, taste, tangibles, sounds, thoughts. That was my original tendency. But now here the practice is taking us in a different direction, and Buddha is encouraging us to go there, stay there, and Buddha is kind of pumping certain kind of a different tendency to our mind. Tatra abhiratin ichche. Okay, you better be there, dwell there, encourage that, keep your direction there. Now we are directing the mind to a different direction. That was not our original tendency. That's why it's difficult for us to be there, to appreciate it, because that was not our original program. That was not our trait. That was not our habit. So we need to change it now. So Buddha is encouraging that. So assume now you are learning that, you are encouraged to do that, and you have certain motivation to attain Nibbana. And the difficulty is, again mind drops to the sight, sound, smell, taste, tangibles, even the thoughts, even the memories, even the different signs appearing in the mind. So you let go of that and be there, be in that emptiness. Hitva kame akinchano. So at that time you possess nothing. Akinchano means at that moment mind has nothing. You as a person owns nothing. So you had a different type of experience actually. We have to talk here. So akinchana. Akinchana anadana. Etam deepam anapana. Nibbanamiti tam bhumi jara machu parikhya. So when Buddha was asked to simply explain about the Nibbana. So this is how he explains. Akinchanam anadana. Akinchanam. At that moment, as a person, you own nothing, possess nothing. Akinchanam anadana. Holds nothing, grasps nothing. Etam deepam anapara. And that is the island, nothing else. So don't think it's an island somewhere. That's also wrong. So sometimes we say, okay, you attain Nibbana. Where is Nibbana? Somewhere, So that is giving us a wrong perception, thinking that Nibbana is something and you go to that place. So it's a epithet actually, in a way telling, okay, this is the island where there is, you own nothing and grasp nothing. So in a way the mind is free. And while being there, so why are you coming back? If you are able to be there, why you drop back? We can say simply because of the defilements. So till we have some sort of a craving, tanha, again we drop back. Even though the temporary we are free, we can't maintain that. That's why typically in Vipassana we use the term called tadanga nibbudi, where we are developing again further and further certain amount of wisdom. So when this wisdom matures to some extent, it cut off the defilements temporarily, and as a result of that, mind become free. But the moment again the wisdom drops, again you go and hold something. So the wisdom plays the critical role here. Wisdom is the main factor preventing the mind from attaching to anything, holding on to anything. The wisdom is essential here. Now, what do you think about, say, if you think of a Madhyapada? Now, in terms of the Dhamma, we might have to say, so even now, say, but Arahant, so is he continuously practicing, say, rigorously, say, Dhatu Manasikara or human meditation, rigorously he is practicing? Is that the reason that he is keeping the mind free? We have to say, now the defilements are completely cut off forever for the good. It is not dependent on the wisdom now. So his mind is not dependent, his freedom is not dependent even with the wisdom now. Unlike, say, yogis now, say, for us, say, when we are practicing diligently, okay, our mind is free. But the moment we stop practicing, again we go and start appearing lust, appearing anger, and all that defilements again beeps up, right? But the Arahant's case, so they are cut forever. And even he is sick, even he is dwelling in other place or whatever, still mind is free. Something like that. I used to give a simple simile. So our minds are like very much like a, say, a cup of water. Under, say, on the bottom there are some sedimentation is there. So the moment that we get shocked, again the turbulence happens, because the tendencies are there. Potential is there again to pollute the mind, pollute the water. Arahant's mind is something like pure water bottle. You can keep, shaking it, but still it prevails the purity, right? No impediments, no say impurities. It's a pure water. It has to be pure water. You can shake it, but nothing happens, right? You can see through because it is pure water. Same thing. So for us, it's maybe different. You appear like pure water, but it's only the appearance. So underneath, still the potentials are there. the latent tendencies are there. When the necessary conditions are satisfied, again lust arises, again anger arises, again conceit arises. So that's the problem. Temporarily we can behave like an arahant, but when the conditions are different, then you again become a worldly. But here, we can't immediately become an arahant also. That's another interesting thing. So once we, through Vipassana, once we arrive with Tadanga Nirbuddhi, we need to keep promoting that. Okay, stay there. As much as possible, stay there. Don't come back. Don't be a worldling. You be an arahant. Try to be an arahant, don't be a worldling. Now that is the theme of the Indriya Sutta. Say, as a result of the practice, assume now you arrive with Tadanga Nirbuddhi. It is etam santam, etam panitam yadam upekka. It is peaceful, etam santam, etam panitam, it is sublime, upekka, equanimous. So this state, now if you refer the state of the mind, the quality of the mind at that moment, it is just peace. It's a mere peace. No fluctuation, no irritation, no friction, no stress, no anger, no lust. It's mere peace. Etam santam, etam panitam. Sublime. Very, say, kind of not polluted, fairly pure, we can say. Fairly pure state of mind. That is done upekha. It is equanimous. I mean, you can't expect a kind of a really blissful, really, floating every time. But the mind is equanimous. It has come to the equilibrium. It has come back home. It has become kind of water. It is not tasty. It is not warm. It is not muddy. It is not turbulent. It is not hot. It is mere pure water. And be there. Next time again, okay, you get angry, again the water start boiling. Quickly come to the neutral, pure water. Again you see a beautiful sight, again the water become colored. Okay, remove the color, come back to the transparent water. Isn't it? So, I mean, if you refer our mind is very much like pure water, so this is the kind of, say, change happening in the mind. Now, whenever we get angry, it is very much like boiling water. So, these are similes actually available in Sanghara Sutta. So, the angry mind is like a boiling mind, boiling water. You can't look at yourself. I mean, you can't use it as a mirror because it's boiling water. Previously, assume because of the practice, say you were staying at pure water level, but when due to some reason anger arises, again boil. So don't be at the boiling level, boiling stage. So come back quickly to the natural temperature, room temperature, not the boiling temperature. So how long are you keeping the anger in your mind? I mean, these are some practical points that we can, in a way, assess our growth, right? So assume that you are a person that short-tempered, you may get quickly angry. Are you holding that anger for a long time? Right? So with practice, this has to reduce. How long you are keeping your mind boiled as the boiled water, boiling with anger, so that time has to be keep reducing. And on the other hand, how often are you getting angry? Isn't it? How often are you getting angry? So with time, with practice, so that also has to be reduced. How often are you getting lustful and keep burning with lust enjoying the fantasies, sexual fantasies, and enjoying this lust for long. Even if the mind becomes lustful, can we quickly drop it and come back to the neutral mind? So these are certain indications actually we can verify where we are moving forward. Because the other thing is, now as the practice is growing, it doesn't mean that we immediately become lust-free and we immediately become anger-free. So those are another stage to handle, right? So still we may get angry, still we may get lustful. Things are there. But how long are we keeping that? That's another indicator to check ourselves, our attitude. How long we allow the mind to get spoiled, to get polluted, and very much like we are not responsible at that moment. So we simply let I don't like to tell that, we simply let our daughter to be raped, and I as the father, I as the mother, I simply just look at. Isn't it? We are not responsible in that level. So our own mind, and we are so concerned about the mind, we want to protect the mind, but we let it be raped. We simply don't care. Whatever the defilements is very much like that. So we can't dwell in the emptiness, we can't keep the mind in purity because of the influence of the defilements. So the more we are able to reduce the defilements, more we are able to attack or somehow overcome the defilements, more we are able to stay in the purity. Simple as that, isn't it? Now, in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, so this is how Buddha encourages us. Whenever we see some, now you arrive this emptiness, you arrive temporary freedom, still temporary freedom, and once you are there, again due to some sort of a sight, again you become lustful, again you become happy, again the mind gets excited, or the other side. Either manapa or amanapa. Manapa means either your mind becomes desirous, delighted, elated, something like that. Amanapa means again get angry and resentment, down and ground and all that. How quickly Buddha is asking us to return? Blink of an eye. Blink of an eye, come back to the emptiness, come back to this neutrality. You can see how much he is encouraging that. Actually, in this, I mentioned in the Nissarana, we discussed the Siddhibhava Sutta during last retreat, and Buddha mentioned two qualities: Panitadi Muttito, Panitadi Muttoti, and Nibbanadi Muttoti. Panitadi Muttoti means, so our inclination has to be more into the superior side, not to the inferior side. Right? Now say, typically our inclination is more into lustful tendencies. I want to look at as much as possible, enjoy my eyes as much as possible, enjoy sounds as much as possible, enjoy taste, smells, tangibles as much as possible. So that is the inferior kind of a tendency, what we call the kama vitakka. So other side is what? Nekkhamma side. Okay, letting go, keeping away and keep the mind relaxed, keep the mind calm, prefer seclusion and that sort of a tendency. So instead of the lustful tendency, the opposite is the nekkhamma tendency. The other side is the lethargic kind of a tendency. Okay, I don't want to do anything, I want to sleep, I want to, all that lethargic type of tendency. Laziness, that tendency. So that is the downside. So Buddha say, okay, you got to come to the other side. You need to be upright and you got to be heedful. You should be effortful. You got to promote that. And that's the other side. Okay, you keep on getting angry and short-tempered and keep shouting and all that, you burn with anger. So that is the inferior kind of mentality. The other side is, okay, you have abdapanja. That means the more loving kindness, more soft, more gentle, and you are not keeping any angry tendencies, but you become the other side. So that is the panitadimutito. Panitadimutto. Instead of hinadimutto, you got to be panitadimutto. So these are the tendencies that we have to grow. The next one is not the sakkaya dimutto or sakkaya rato. Rather, you got to be nibbana dimutto, nibbana rato. So sakkaya rato means encouraging the grasping, encouraging the I-making. I am the one, I am the boss, I am the best, I am the first. Encouraging some of identity, individuality, myself. Holding on to something and making a self. So I am the best. Say you are really beautiful. We use the beauty of the body to make a self. Say I am experiencing some sort of a pleasurable experience, feeling. Using that I make a self. I learn a lot and develop fair amount of perceptions, gather fair amount of information, and I am the best. So I'm doing a lot of activities and surpassing others through the activities, through the volitional activities. Okay, I'm the best. So likewise, we were promoting that. We were promoting the self-view. We were promoting the self-identity. Among the crowd, I want to highlight. Isn't it? I mean, I'm an individual, I'm a VIP. Not a special person, not a typical, commoner. I'm a special guy, So this is the tendency we were encouraging. That is called the sakkaya dimutto or sakkaya rato. But Buddha say, okay, you got to come to the other side, nibbana rato, nibbana dimutto. Okay, you got to see how this fellow again makes this stupid eye. Not that you are purposely making an eye, while dwelling in emptiness, you got to see, oh, this stupid fellow again made an eye. I mean, you can see what a kind of a radical change has to happen within us. So we used to encourage the self-view, we used to encourage as a person, but here, while dwelling in emptiness, you got to see, so this foolishness, due to taking some little thing, again he's making a person, making I. Now say you are able to maintain very calm, very relaxed, very peaceful mind, no grasping, as a result of the practice, no grasping. But immediately, say certain thought is coming, I did it. Again trapped, again got stuck, right? Again I making has happened. So therefore, while dwelling in emptiness, it is not that we simply have to lazily, ignorantly be there. We have to vigilantly be there to recognize, because of latent tendencies, is there any new eye makings are happening, right? Any further mind makings are happening. Any new kind of graspings are happening. So that's why here in the Vipassana Sutta, so Buddha encourages us to use three mechanisms to come to the emptiness again, rather than dwelling in that excited state. Look at the grasp state as a gross experience. Now, for that to do, actually we need to have tasted the sublime state, right? Temporary, equanimous state as a very sublime, very soft, very gentle, very relaxed, very simple kind of an experience. But the grasp state, it's a very gross, very rough, very burdened, very tense-like experience. So which one now Buddha is encouraging? Okay, you look at the tense quality, you look at the gross quality, very hard burden quality currently available at this grasp state. So don't be there, come to that subtle, relaxed, simple, untangled state. So olarika. Olarika means gross, very rough, tough, gross, whatever terms. So the grasp state is rough, gross, tangled and burdened, and you feel kind of friction. So don't be there, come back to that little, very simple, very relaxed, very peaceful, equanimous state. Or else we say sankata, means condition. So this grasp state is conditioned. So the non-grasping state currently may be also conditioned because we are dependent on the wisdom. The moment we lose the wisdom, again we go and grasp. But if we come from another direction, so the grasp state, say the mind become angry. So you did lot of kind of constructions in your mind. So you remembered another person's whatever the activities, and you put your own imaginations, you put your own value judgments, and many other constructions are there. So that's how the mind become agitated, that's how mind become excited, that's how mind become, say, heated. So we have contributed a lot to take it from here with a relaxed state to this excited state. So you look at that, so the constructions that has gone through. So this new state is more conditioned compared to the previous state. So you return to that previous state, which is more closer to unconditioned. Olarikam, sankakam, patisampanna. This grasp state is more coming through some sort of patisampanna, it's dependently arisen. Say you assume that excitement has happened through the eyes. Chakkuncha, paticca, rupecha, upadya, chakkuvinyana. Now, if we analyze the process, what has happened, say eye and the form, and then the eye consciousness, it happens repeatedly. Now the eye contact, it has causes the feeling, pasapacca vedana, and that feeling you start having craving, right? Vedana pacca tanha, then tanha pacca upadana, upadana pacca bhava, bhava pacca jati. So likewise, if you look back, you can recognize this conditionality. You can recognize this stepwise process happen within the mind. So that's another approach to the mention. Okay, you look at the patisampanna nature, dependently arisen nature of the current grasp state. So it's very much like you are penetrating the situation. You are diving through the situation so that you get untangled. Return to the very soft, relaxed, calm equanimity. I mean, these things are to be practiced. I mean, no point of just talking. These things are to be practiced. So as you are practicing, again and again, the mind comes to this relaxed, calm, quiet, simple, equanimous state. Try to be there. But due to the latent tendencies, again mind get tangled. But now don't be there in that tangled state. Don't be there in that excited state. Don't be there in that heated state. Return to the cool state, calm state, relaxed state, equanimous state. So therefore, this equanimity, this calmness, this peace has to be encouraged. So we have to be taught about it. Otherwise, my mind alone might not have that capacity. That's why we need the Buddha's teaching, this encouragement to sort of have this tendency develop in ourselves. It's very difficult for us to have it our own. So we need this encouragement, particularly as we are growing, to again and again come here, again and again be there. I mean, currently it appears like boring, okay, don't worry, just be there. Oh, I want to see, no, Robert will come here. Because mind is like a child, it needs some excitement. Again, you want the watch this phone to look at YouTube. What's happened today? Okay, you just come here. Very difficult. I mean, it's easy to say, but our latent tendencies are so hungry. So hungry. Our minds are hungry with sights, sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles, thinking. If nothing is there, at least I want to think. I want to dream. So please don't disturb me. Right? So at least. So then you might complain, okay, now he's asking not to even think. We have the freedom of thinking. Not only that, freedom of talking. So very interesting, I mean, in a way. So how Buddha is taking us to a different direction. Rather than, trapped in the sensuality, this sensual world, okay, can we, at least for a moment, be free from the sensuality, be free from this latent tendencies and dwell, at least for a moment, in that very calm, relaxed, quiet, simple equanimity. So these are the three possibilities actually these are not the only ones, but in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, Buddha has given these possibilities or these strategies to come back to or to return to that equanimity. But interesting thing is, so as we are doing it again and again, it can even take you to the trainee level. The latent tendencies can cut off for good. That's the encouragement. Because the second part of the Indriya Bhavana Sutta instruction is for a training, for a Sekaputta. You can see that this practice is so powerful, we can't say that immediately you become a Sotapanna. But the practice is so powerful, now you are going against the grain, basically. You can understand, right? So our tendency was more towards these lustful tendencies, but now I am slowly, somehow, I am taking off my mind from that old habit, old tendency. So one day, so the Sakkaya Ditthi may be cut off for good. Silapada Paramasa may cut off for good. Vichikicha may be cut off for good. And now Buddha say, one possibility to, this is not the way that Buddha explained there. He say, when you are a trainee, he doesn't say the three strategies now I have mentioned. Those are not the strategies, those are not the methods that he mentioned for a trainee. So what is the method he is mentioning for the trainee? Because trainee also can get tangled. He's also not yet an arahant. He's just a trainee, a seeker. And again mind get tangled, again mind get sort of agitated, again mind get excited. But the method mentioned is not this kind of a little practice related or somewhat work related thing. Rather, he simply say, Attiyati harayati jivuchati. You being ashamed. Be ashamed of what has happened. That's enough. You don't need to struggle, you need to do a lot of work to come out of it. Okay, you know we have to be there, but this fellow, this stupid, again came there, okay, what a stupid. That may be enough for the mind to get corrected. Something like that. So that now the child is, somewhat mature. Not a really a kid, but now he's a mature fellow. But still the tendencies are there. It's not yet a adult, something like that. So therefore, the practice immediately we can't say we are a Sotapanna or someone. But as we continue, it may happen. We can be hopeful about it. And one way to recognize it is that the method that we are using. So you may not have to struggle a lot to come out of it. Whenever you get really angry, you previously may be struggling a lot to calm down. You practice metta and you go to someone and go to speak to someone, get some advice and go to counseling. Still the mind is burning. Struggle a lot to come out of anger. True, no? That's the way. But as a result of the practice, now you yourself can come out of it, and you are your own teacher, and that's also not long. You're not holding it for a long time, and you can quickly drop it and come back to the normal state. So likewise, we can assess our own skills while we are practicing. Have I come to at least develop some kind of a skill to drop certain defilement? Even though again I get angry, again get lustful, again get jealousy, again get conceited, am I holding it for a long time, or am I able to return to the normal, very relaxed, calm, undefiled state fairly early, fairly easily? So these are certain demarcations indicating some growth is happening within us. And the encouragement here is to dwell in that peace, dwell in that emptiness. So the sunyata viharana is something that we need to encourage therefore, not only mere talking about emptiness, but to dwell in emptiness. Okay, with that note, I'd like to conclude today's Dhamma sermon. Thank you very much for attentive listening. Okay, today I have a short sharing of merits. Lunch dana offered by Subhadra Devasurendra on account of her birthday. In addition, she dedicated the merits to her dearly departed husband, late Mr. Nimal Boteju. So that's the sharing of merits I have received. And today also we have spent a lot of time practicing the Buddha's teaching, and again participated in the Dhamma discussion and listened to the Dhamma sermon, and some of you have participated in offering dana. All these good deeds have let us accumulate a lot of merits. And we share these merits with all the past relatives, all celestial beings, and whoever in need of merits. And we wish these merits help us also to attain path, fruition, nibbana. We will recite the traditional verses. Yattavataca amhehi sambhadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sambha sampatti siddhya. Yattavataca amhehi sambhadam punya sampadam Sambe Bhuta Anumodantu Sambha Sampatti Siddhya. Ettavataca amhehi sambhadam punya sampadam Sambe Satta Anumodantu Sambha Sampatti Siddhya. Akasatthaca Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahittika Punyantam Anumoditva Chiram Rakhantu Sasanam. Akasatthaca Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahittika Punyantam Anumoditva Chiram Rakhantu Desanam. Akasatthaca Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahittika Punyantam Anumoditva Chiram Rakhantu Mamparam. Idam vo yati nam hotu sukita hontu yatayo. Idam vo yati nam hotu sukita hontu yatayo. Idam vo yati nam hotu sukita hontu yatayo. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.